Thank you for tuning in to yet another episode of the Real Reset podcast with myself, Coach C, and the wonderful Coach Andy. Coach Andy, how are you today?
I'm awesome. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for the laugh prior to going live here. Uh,
I mean, it wouldn't be the same without a little laugh before, right? Getting the in the mood, getting the mood of speaking.
I'm gonna have the giggles and I can't talk. My face hurts. Laughing is good for the soul. Laughing is good for the soul. So, if you're live right now, by the way, on YouTube, hashtag I'm here. We want to hear from you. If you have any questions, let us know. And also, we will only be going live on YouTube every Saturday, 12 p.m. Eastern time. So, make sure that you tune in, and we're going to drop so much value to make sure that you become the best version of you. And oh my God, I'm trying not to laugh here, but we had some good jokes going on prior to this live. And I'm also really, really excited, by the way. My clients are flying in today and super pumped about that. So I cannot wait, by the way, that one day you and I, Coach Andy, have a retreat for couples and it's going to be absolutely beautiful. Can't wait for that. Okay, so how's your week been?
Honestly, it's been a good week. Besides, I know a lot of people talk about the cold where I'm from, but it's been consistently cold. So I mean, there's not much to complain about. So other than that, it's been good. Honestly, just assisting clients in their health journeys, speaking a lot about health to youth through training some of the youth in and around the area that I'm from. So honestly, it's been good. And honestly, the impact. I know we talk a lot about impact, and right now we're going to be talking about like how getting people on board, like significant others, to assist in your weight loss journey or to assist in your journey makes it easier. And when I was looking or just like assisting these children in this training, it just they're sponges, and we're like sponges too,
Mhm.
like as adults. And it just dawned on me, I'm like, we have such a duty to impact people around us. And if we're not impacting people around us, I think we're not doing our job, and I think we're doing ourselves a disservice. So that was one of the points that I took away that was huge for me this week, is like the impact that I truly have and that we truly have on the people around us at any given time and any given moment. And leading with love. I know you speak about this all the time. It's like leading with love in everything that you do, in trying to assist people and not thinking about yourself first all the time.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So much value already, and it's only been like 3 minutes. I love it. I actually, like, for me, I just signed up a new client who's actually one of my client's daughters. And this is the second time I'm coaching a daughter on their health journey. And it's so crucial to teach them at a young age the importance of health, nutrition, and fitness, not just because of how you look, but how you feel and how much it's going to help you in your school, in your confidence. So many kids nowadays struggle with self-esteem, with confidence. And I wish, and I was telling her there on the Zoom call we just had not even an hour ago, and her mom, Jessica, thank you for trusting me with your daughter's health. I was telling her, I wish that at 16 years old, my mom was like, hey, you know what? I think this is going to better you. And I know that she's helped me, and now this is going to help you. In schools, we are taught math, science, all the stuff that, let's be real here.
I was see, and no, but I was thinking about that. Like as you mentioned that, I know we had counseling, like say in our generation, like growing up, but I was trying to think back. Like I know we had. I'm going to speak for myself. I had a lot of good coaches. I had a lot of good individuals around me. Um, but I don't know that we had the amount of like, I know we demonize social media, and I think there's a lot of positives to come with social media. So we get a lot out of the like the teaching and the coaching aspect of it that we get to put into our own lives and to help, you know, get us out of situations or get us on the right track. And when you mention this coaching or just like having individuals around you, like these communities, they're like from afar, and how they benefited you and put you in a position that you're in now, it's like, I wonder what that would have been like, not to go back and be like, oh, I want to erase my childhood or my upbringing, but like, what could it have impacted, or what kind of person could have been created with these communities?
Boom. I love that. I love that you shared that. And it's true. At the end of the day, like, we talk about community all the time. Look how we met. We met through a community.
Yeah.
And we've helped each other grow in so many aspects of our lives. Like, I see the growth in you, the confidence in you. Listen, those that don't know, I'm going to just say this. Coach Andy was afraid to go live a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And it's not afraid, it's the confidence. What are people going to think? We talked about fear. But we're going off topic here. So let's just dive right into this topic today. Ladies and gentlemen, is your partner holding you back from losing the weight? Let me know if you're trying to lose the weight, but your husband or your wife or your partner, whoever comes home with a bag of chips, comes home, oh, I ordered pizza, and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to eat the pizza because he brought the pizza. Right? Like, who's been there? I've been there.
I think we've all been there, and we've all chose to just like, that's that internal self-talk where you're just like, I'm on a journey, but it's like, this won't kill me. Right? And we always talk about just certain aspects to health where you're like, can you actually commit to that goal that you made for yourself and not let anybody derail you or throw you off track? And that's kind of what we're going to get into is it that you're not enjoying life by saying no? That's a big question, right? Because it comes up a lot. It's like, oh, well, just eat the pizza, just eat those candies, just eat the chocolate. And I think we always need to think of like the time of where we're at in our journey to allow these things to actually enter our lives or enter back into our lives. And you've spoken a lot about alcohol. And I think you mentioned it the other day about like being in a position where you don't have to overindulge.
Did you hear that? I haven't touched it personally.
I did. But it's all those little necessary things that each individual has to have control of before you allow. You should never allow someone to dictate where you're at.
Yes.
Where you want to get to. And that's your spouse, your friends, doesn't matter who.
Yeah, 100%. And the control, what I've learned in my fitness journey and my relationships is the control. You are in control of your life, not your husband, not your kids. So if you truly want something, you have to first start with yourself. But having somebody there that's supporting you, that's on the same page as you, is going to help. And when I started my fitness journey, my ex-boyfriend was he drank beers every day after work. Like, I open that beer can, have a cigarette, order pizza, Chinese food, whatever it is, whatever you wanted. Tall, skinny dude. Like, he wasn't overweight, but super unhealthy. And I started my weight loss journey. And what happened was I lost weight, but I didn't just lose weight. I found myself again. And what happened was that we drifted apart because we became so different. I was like, okay, I'm sober now. I'm not drinking every day. I want to be active. I want to do stuff. I don't want to just watch Netflix every single day after work or all weekend. So the importance of starting a journey with someone else is not only going to help you, but it's going to thrive and it's going to bring you guys together even closer.
Yeah. And I agree with that. So when you speak about the whole aspect of getting your partner on board, it's not that you're trying to force them. It's that you actually love them enough to tell them that this change is needed. And especially if you have kids, because I just told you, I opened this podcast with a little bit about like the influence of children and the actual role that we play in impacting children and impacting the people around us, in more than just the sport that we're playing, right? This isn't just about the sport that we're teaching the kids. This isn't just about the weight loss that our partner wants to achieve or the way that they want to look by losing, or getting on this health journey that's going to, put them in a position where they feel better and they lost the weight. That was their initial goal. But bringing you guys together as parents, as partners, is going to start to flourish in every direction of your life. And then you'll start to be able to say, like, wow, I can think a lot clearer. We're making different decisions together that we otherwise wouldn't have made because we feel healthier. So instead of, having that date night where you're just going to a restaurant to overindulge, you might take a date to the park. You might take a date to, something other than like food, like dates. So it's like, oh, you might go to the park and, whatever, throw a football, place or do something active where you're like, or go, what do they call it? With those boards, it's like not the wakeboards, but like the stand boards where you're just, paddle boards.
Okay.
So, but like I've seen a lot of people doing more active things as dates, right? Where it's not just always restaurants.
To feel good.
Right?
Yeah. And how many times have people have gone on dates? And it's actually ironic that yesterday was Valentine's Day. Happy Love Day, by the way.
Love Day.
We don't celebrate Love Day here in this house. We celebrate Love Day every single day. So, I mean, Travis, if you have roses, I will take them though.
But
he got me a massage a couple days ago. That was good enough. But no, to bring into that is that how many couples have gone to a restaurant and that's all they know. It's like, okay, it's Valentine's Day. It's because whatever it is, it's their birthday. Let's go to a restaurant. Let's get drunk. Let's drink. Let's eat whatever we want. And then what happens at the end of the night? We don't feel great. We sometimes end up in an argument. I hear this all the time. It's like this pattern. It's like once you get onto this fitness journey together, it's not like, yeah, you're going to like pick up a sport or whatnot, but you're going to want to do things that makes you feel good, not just to go out because we have to go out. Right? Like we went to the gym together yesterday. We did things together. We ate the same things that we usually eat every single day and we feel good about it. Right? We went for a walk. Like we don't have to have these special events and holidays to celebrate, but then the celebration, because you celebrate. Okay, sorry. This is going into what I'm trying to say is you end up celebrating every single day. Like life 100%. Is a celebration and you end up 100%. Doing things that makes you feel good. Does that make sense?
100%. Yeah, 100%. I think, yeah. So on the topic of just the way that we encounter our fitness journeys is just more in depth than we think. And by having our partners on board with us, it gives us a sense of like comfort too, where and support, because we feel like they're supporting us and they want us to do better. They want us to, they love us enough to support us to get healthier. This isn't one of those things that we always come in contact with is, oh, you're trying to, look better for someone else, or you're trying to look better, for some like conniving reasons where it's like, that's not
for a wedding. I'm going to a wedding. I want to lose 30 pounds. Like, no.
Exactly. And these events, how many events can we basically talk about in a year that we want to lose weight for? Like, do we want to run a list right now of things? It's like, okay, my birthday, your birthday, Valentine's Day, like
Christmas,
Mexico trip.
Yeah.
There's so many things. So it's like, how many times can you go up and down the yo-yo as far as getting yourself on track? And all these things lead to anxiousness. All these things lead to low, self-esteem, low confidence. And we never realize it. We never put these things together. That's why we wanted to talk about this today, is because there's this common theme of we're better together, but we never truly get together. We're truly just individuals and we're always kind of floating apart, like day by day. And the only things that bring us back together are days like Valentine's Day, where we buy things and it's like, hey, here are these flowers, here are these things that don't necessarily, it's the norm to give, but throughout the year, we're giving less and less and less. And it starts with our fitness, and it starts with ourselves and becoming our better selves through fitness, or through other avenues of challenging yourselves, like reading, like learning a different skill. All these things play a role into how you can come together, but you have to be willing to actually put some time in to get together to do these things. And I know, because we have busy lives, but it's too often that we're drifting apart by saying we have no time. So we do, the kids got a hockey game, the kids got this, so we just go this way, right? We go opposites and we never come together.
And then, that's actually, I wanted to ask this question before you actually went into this time management. People, I hear all the time, I don't have the time. And then that's when your relationship also, that's like you said, you drift apart because you don't make the time. So if you decide to get on this journey and the other partner is there with you, you will make the time together to make it. You will figure out ways to incorporate your workouts together, or even just going to the gym together. Travis and I go to the gym together. We don't have to work out together. I've done workouts with him here and there, but I prefer doing it on my own. So you don't have to do everything together, but growing individually together will actually flourish in your business, in your fitness, in your career, in everything that you do. So I want to ask you, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody's listening to right now and they're like, okay, we get it. But I have kids, I have a career, I'm busy, I don't have time. How do I make time for, say I already wake up at 5, I have to feed my kids. Like, what do you say to somebody like that? Because I get it all the time.
Well, let's just start with the audit that you're going to take on your life is you're going to think differently. So immediately, the second you open up your calendar, you're going to be honest about your calendar and where it can go, like where it can take you. So if there's something immediately that you can cut out, you're going to cut that out, because the most important thing is your health. So something in your schedule that doesn't involve your health needs to go. So that would be, like you said, if you're waking up early already, then you might need to wake up a half hour earlier then, in order to get your workout in, right? You might have to stay up a little bit later, not like you want to do that, but it's like, instead of let's say you already stay up until 10, but the last hour of your day, you're watching Netflix, right?
Can I just interrupt you for a second?
Yeah.
And that's when people say they wake up already at 5 a.m. I get them, just like you said, audit. What are you doing from 5 a.m. until you leave to work? A lot of the times they scroll on social media, they're watching the news, they're doing things that aren't actually helping them get to the next level or bettering themselves, their life, their health. So you literally got it. What's the nail thing? You got the nail on the head?
Hit the nail on the head.
Hit the nail on the head.
So
assessing, auditing yourself.
A complete audit would help that. So that's one of the first things that you tell your clients. So is doing a complete audit and actually being honest with yourself in where you can make changes to enhance the quality of your life. And I know we can all make changes to better this. And whether you're taking your kids to hockey games, or you work 9 to 5, or you're a business owner, I know that these things can be daunting at times, like making them work. But imagine you feeling your best, your absolute best, as you continue to work towards the healthier version of yourself, and your schedule will change entirely. So you'll start to see that you get more things done, so you can add more things to your calendar. I don't think anyone thinks of it that way. So when you think of your calendar and you're optimized in your health, now I'm adding things to my calendar because I'm knocking things out because I just feel good. I'm like, what's next?
More focused,
right? Yeah. More quality work being done instead of just like busy work. And then when I do let's say if I'm blocking off 2 hours of time to work, when I get a chance to take that time off to do the things that I want to do, like go and work out or go outside and walk, it's literally so rewarding. to feel that, like, that walk, what it does for my mental clarity, what it does for my mood and how I actually approach individuals after. So when you do, see your significant other, when you do see your friends, when you do see your family, your conversations are different. Your patience, right, is different. So there's so many things that it affects, and whether you want to realize it now or not, all these things are going to change the moment that you want to change them. So if you don't want to change them and you want to be like one of those people that sits in their same routine is great, but if your routine is bad, it's not great anymore, right? And if you're not changing, you're settling.
Yeah.
So that's one of the biggest things that I think is I notice for myself is if I'm getting in a position of like complacency, and settling and not trying to grow and learn and do other things and change my schedule and audit my schedule continuously am I improving? Am I getting improvement? Am I seeing improvement? That's when we get into trouble. We get into like health risks. Your partners have health risks because we allow it. And that's why we talked about this today, because we allow things to compound so much that we don't say anything because we're comfortable.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Like, how do you feel that we're allowing our partners or significant others to just be unhealthy? And we just sit there and watch it.
Yeah. It's actually, this is a great point right here. And one, thank you for answering my question, because I hope that those are listening right now and you've been making the excuse that I don't have the time. Audit your time right now, like assess, figure out what you're actually doing every 30 minutes of the day. And you will freaking see that you do have the time. You make the time for what's important. And then to the point of now going into like, how can you let your significant other become unhealthy and how you're promoting that? It breaks my heart because you see your significant other isn't happy with who they are, who they've become, but yet you promote that and you promote the unhealthy habits that they've created. Like, why is it? Is it because you don't want them to better themselves? Like, is it because you're afraid of what happens when they do start to better themselves? Like, it's mind-boggling to me that I hear, and I love, listen, I'm not a relationship coach whatsoever, but when I hear a partner saying, you know what, I'll love you no matter what, it's great, but I want my partner to love me at my best. I want them to want me at my best. And it doesn't mean having a six-pack. That doesn't mean that. It just means me being healthy, me living a long, healthy life, me being in a good mood. Like you said, like having patience. Like, we have more patience now. We're happier. We have better conversations. Like, we're more focused. Like, it's all of that. Do you want to touch base?
No, you start to tear down these conversations that you have. And you analyze. This isn't to say that we don't want to overthink. We don't want to overthink things. And it's not about being that we're trying to be relationship coaches. It's that through our experience, and this is dealing with, having employees, this is, having friends come and go. It's just like we're constantly doing audits, not because we think that we're better, because we're on a health journey, not because we're better because, we continue to learn, but we've seen that what it does for us. We've seen how it impacts you, how it impacts, like, think of all the communities that we're in and the coaches that we're around and the inspiration that we receive from being around these people. It literally every single day, I'm just like, I want more. I want more. And this has nothing to do with money as in more. It's like, I want more knowledge. I want to be able to give more. And in order to give more, I have to continue to get more. Right. In the form of learning and in the form of experiences, in the form of just becoming that person that I was meant to become.
Yes. Yeah, and when you want more, you want to lose the weight. You want to lose the weight, but understand like there's so much more that comes with that, and it's so beautiful. Once
Yeah.
you understand that and you grasp that it's like this is a lifestyle change. And when we say this to people, you are like, "Oh, I won't ever be able to have my burger and fries. I'm gonna always be eating like lettuce and chicken." Like, no, 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 no. There's just so much more to that. But going back to, the issue of, let's say you're trying to lose the weight and your partner is holding you back. What would you say when it comes to, let's say, like their goals now? Let's say, couples, somebody wants to lose the weight, but the significant other doesn't really care to, but she wants the husband to start. Like, how do you get them both on the same page? There you go. That's my question. How do you get them both on the
I
same
would
page?
say it's so men are different.
Mhm.
The way that we think is different. And I'm going to speak to most men out there because I think we think it's so easy to get back into shape without realizing it's not that easy. That's the first thing is I hear that a lot is men don't want to get started because they're like, I can get started and get into shape like
Mhm.
that. And I'm like, that's not how it is. That's the first thing. The second thing is that's the ego part of men where it's like we don't have to work as hard, right? So we can just kind of right, we can wait. We can keep putting it off. We can keep putting it off. It's not that bad. Like I'm not that overweight or, I'm not overweight, but we don't really take into consideration what the damage is being done on the inside. And that's
Mm.
another part that people forget that I want men to understand is that look at your internals more than the external. You might look like you're in shape, but the second you actually have to move,
Mm.
you're in trouble, right? And
Yeah.
I've seen it through rec sports and different sports where guys are getting hurt instantly because they never take care of their bodies. They never take care of, the internals. So you start to, have to consume, let's say, blood pressure pills, cholesterol pills at a young age. And it's not because your genetics told you had to, it's because you probably stopped caring about what your intake is way too soon.
Yeah.
So, and that's not to say that genetics don't play a role. That's not what I'm saying. But there's a time and a place. But
Right.
to get your significant other on board, like you need to tell them you love them enough to get them to want to take care of themselves and give them all the reasons why.
Yeah. Sorry.
Right? No, go ahead. Go ahead.
The why, like you have to sit down with your significant other and say why I want to do this. And your why isn't because you have a wedding to attend, isn't because you want to have a six pack. Your why is because, hey, like I want to be there for my grandkids. I want to be there for you when you're older, when you need to be taken care of. Like I want to be there. I don't want to be going up the stairs out of breath at 60 years old. Like I want to be there. Those have to be your whys. Like, so first and foremost, you have to write down your why, and to try and get your significant other on the same page is to tell them, communicate with them why
Yeah.
you want this for you and for them.
Yeah.
And sometimes they may not want to be on the same page even after you explain that. But when you start your journey and they see how good you feel and how you've changed, they will hop on board too. So again, you can't force and help everyone around you and your family. It all starts with you. It all starts with you. Okay. But communicating with them their why and just having open discussion about your goals and aligning like what your bigger picture is. You want your kids to be
Yeah.
healthy, right?
And changing the conversation around that too.
Yeah.
So, like what you just mentioned, when you do that and when you are communicating, is changing the language that you use,
Mm.
right? Where it's not like, hey, you should just start working out with me. It's like, well, that's very surface level. There's no passion behind it. There's no incentive behind it. It doesn't mean there has to be an incentive in like some sort of like bribery around it.
Mm.
But what what are you actually trying to influence? Like, how are you trying to influence them? And that's by language. I
Mm.
think if you start to use different language and start to, speak of it differently, speak of yourself differently, speak of the way that you feel differently,
Mhm.
speak of the way that you get things done, lead by example. So your kids start, the second you start to do that and your kids start taking notice, and it's like, what do you think your kids will say? Hey, look at mom, or look at dad. Wow, like they're running with me today. Like dad was, running faster than I was, or whatever the case may be. It's like, you know, there's so many things that are gonna be measurable, like tools to look at, to be like, use those as conversation points. It's like, hey, I love to see you playing with our son or daughter out there, and the way that you played with them, because that's an experience. As soon as you have those experiences, that is what counts. That is what people will see as a change. Your kids will see it, your significant other sees it, and that will make you change. That'll force you to change. Not saying, hey, I want you to lose weight because you got a belly. That it, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean much. So when you start to actually make it meaningful, and it's like, I love seeing you play with the kids that way. I love seeing you do this. I love the way that you show up when you do this. You're a different person when you do this.
Yeah.
All these things are just like compounding effects of like how great your communication could be, or just how you can get that person on board with you by speaking a different language.
And you will start speaking a different language when you're on this journey, because you start thinking differently, you start feeling differently, and it does go to your partner, but also your kids. Your kids are going to see that you guys get along better, and you will. It's crazy to say this, but it's a fact that, they say fitness couples stay together. Work if you work out, whatever that saying is. What is it?
Yeah, I don't know it entirely, but like,
It's true. Like
yeah, like,
they just their their relationships are tighter because they work on themselves, because they go to the gym to let go of any anger, of any sadness that they're going through, and then they go on about their day. They're able to communicate better. And so it's so crucial for you as an individual to work on yourself if you want your relationship to blossom, and if you want to be a good role model for your kids.
well, it's so let's take ourselves for instance, in like in how we coach and how we show up, to clients that we coach. That could be, in person or online. It's just the energy and the passion that we speak with is because we care.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the language that we speak, is coming from a place of love, gratitude, and we give a shit. We really give a shit in what we're trying to do for our clients. So that's why it comes off as like, at times we're passionate, sometimes we're laughing, we're having fun, but we truly care. And that's the language that we speak. And it hasn't always been that way. I'm going to speak for myself, until I started actually doing sufficient self-improvement work, where I noticed things and I tried to audit and change the things that I was doing incorrect. And what I mean by incorrect is like, that doesn't serve me, and
Can
that
you give
doesn't
some
enhance
examples?
my, what's that?
Can you give some examples of that?
So I would say the patience part for sure,
Mm,
is definitely, is number one. The language that I used
mm,
is I would say the language part of things is so high on that scale that, in order to truly understand individuals, because we're emotional creatures,
mhm.
that the language I use and the language that I speak with and listen with literally impacts all of my relationships across the board. And if I look back 5 years ago, or even like 7 years ago, 10 years ago to now, the relationships I can build in a second with people, like strangers, because I do that. I'll go out and I'll speak to strangers on purpose, to literally see, can I listen and take something from this individual and learn something about this individual that they feel important and validated and like,
Yeah.
happy that I stopped them. That that's been a big part, is like just understanding, listening, and just enjoying other people's lives and not just focused on myself all the time.
Yes.
So
And I
that's
love
helped me
that.
big time.
Thanks for sharing that. And I love that everything that we were talking about right now literally has nothing to do with weight loss. Like when you think about it, we're talking about fitness, but like weight loss is just literally like 5% of what everything is. You want to lose a weight, but there's just so much more that comes to that. So I want to dive into something else here briefly before we end this, because I thought we can talk for hours.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can go so much in depth, but let's say, because a lot of the people that I talk to, my clients, like they're high performers, high achievers, and as a couple, high achievers often have that competitive mindset. And this can totally translate into their fitness journey. So like if one, especially with men and women, because men will start losing weight faster, right? Like they'll
100%.
start, right? So how do you keep this momentum going? Like I'm going to ask you that, but I want to actually just point out one thing is that, and I say this all the time, is that even I say it to myself, it's you versus you. You're your own competition. If anything, look at each other as teammates, help each other grow, but not as competition and comparison, the comparison game,
Yeah.
especially with men and women. It's completely different. So what do you have? Do you have any like pointers on how couples can continue this journey together, even if one seems to not be on, losing weight as fast as the other?
Well, it's funny you say that, because so I'm reading. I always like to quote books that I'm reading. And one quote was from a book I read, because it's perfectly to what you just said right now. I'm not trying to beat you. I'm just trying to be me. Like I'm not trying to beat you. I'm trying to be you, or you're trying to be you.
Mm.
So you're in the process of trying to beat someone. You're trying to be you.
So I'm not trying to beat you. I'm trying to be me.
I don't know. I can't remember the quote exactly, but it's basically embracing your opponent as just a person in the dance with you that helps you get better.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
But in the process of you competing, you're still trying to be you.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So in that context, when you're talking about individuals in competition, we're always competing. That's fantastic that we want to be competitive, but we still need to be us, right? And not fixated on beating you, because it's not about that. What it's about is that it would be our communities that we're in. What are we trying to do on a consistent basis? We're trying to raise the level of each individual in the community.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to go, oh, I'm trying to beat Charlotte, or I'm trying to beat Sarah, or I'm trying to beat David, and have these record months and this and that. That has nothing to do with it, or most views on our Instagram or whatever. It has nothing to do with that. So when you're talking about your partner and you're trying to beat them or lose the most weight, it's not about that. What you're trying to do is you're trying to inspire them to be themselves and to raise their level each and every day.
I love that.
And that's how I look at it, is we're trying to raise the level of every individual around us through competition. Competition is great, but we need to realize it's like we're trying to be us along the way, along the journey, and we're trying to get to exactly where we need to be through competition.
Coach Andy, I love how passionate you are about this. Like
someone told me, I'm not going to say who, told me that I seem aggressive when I talk online. You know who you are. What's that? No, not you. Not you.
It's not aggressive. It's passion. And I get like that too. When I'm doing my own podcast, because I'm by myself, so I'm full out just talking. And I get so passionate. I just want to like rip the freaking laptop apart. I'm like, listen to me. Because we get it. We get how this life can truly, this journey, this fitness journey can change your life, but not just yours, the people around you, your family, your kids. It will help you in your business, in your career. Like that's why we get so passionate. So I love that you bring out the passion. And I love also that you know, it took me about 3-4 years to get you on here to finally
Well,
be like,
yeah,
let's freaking do this.
it comes to a point now where it's just been in my ear, and you've constantly said that. People in our community have said this all the time. It's just like raising the bar. Raising the bar, but like speaking because it's needed, right? Using your voice because it's needed, and people, whether you're impacting, whether people are listening to this, like one person's listening to this, or like 10,000 people are listening to this. I think that we all need to think of it in the sense of one person could hear this and it could change their life. It can shift their mindset completely. So all these things that we talk about, and I know you run a pretty like competitive community in the sense that like it's competitive, there's challenges, but you're always cheering each other on to get each other to another level.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's what I wanted to touch on, because it's like when we talk about individuals as partners, it's, you see that in your community. It's like it's a bunch of partnerships,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah. I have to touch base on, you know, you mentioned like we're very competitive, but we're competitive with ourselves. We're not competitive with anybody else. And we cheer each other on. Like the reason my clients are all losing weight, the reason they're all thriving in all aspects of their lives is because they're competing with themselves and they celebrate other people's wins. There's no jealousy. There's no, but why her, why this, why that, this, that. Oh, you know, and it's completely normal to feel that way, especially at the beginning. When you see people thriving, you see people losing the weight, and you're like, why aren't I losing the weight? We're all on different journeys. And it's the same thing with your partner. It's the same thing when you're in a couple's relationship. Like, understand that you are your own competition because you are your own person. You have your own journey. It's okay to be at different places in your life. And that's why it's crucial, if you are both starting a weight loss journey, that, you know, you both have different workout plans. You both have different meal plans because you're two different people. Right? Whether men and women, women and women, you're still going to have different counts differently. So understand, like, we're all so different. I'm just going to read a comment here from Kara. Thanks for tuning in. If you continuously compete with others, you become bitter. But if you continuously compete with yourself, you become better. Fact.
That's,
thank you.
Yeah. And I was literally just going to ask you a question before this that kind of was in relation to that, is if you have a person in your community that sends you a message and says, hey, you know, Coach C, I'm noticing that I'm not really losing much weight, or I'm not getting to wherever I want to be, and so is, and they're eating this much and I'm eating this much. Why is that?
What would I say?
Yeah.
I love that you said this because I've had this so many times. That's why I'm smiling right now. And my clients, ladies, I just want to say I love you all so much. And know that if you're right now, you're like, oh, that's me. A lot of women at the beginning, they're like, well, why am I not losing any weight? Why this?
Or I seen this on TV.
Yes. Okay. So when you're first starting out, let's say most of nowadays, the women don't eat enough. So you're upping your calorie intake. So imagine you're eating more, but you're not losing the weight, but you're stable. Yeah. And then I start assessing your lifestyle. And then I find out that you're sleeping 3-4 hours a night. I find out you're not drinking enough water. I find out you're stressed to a T. Like, all these factors.
What about, sorry, I was just going to stop you. What about the very thing that in that first sentence, though, the comparison that they just mentioned? Because I know you were going to say this, but I know this was literally the top thing that we were going to talk about, is like that sentence as soon as you started comparing yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Because you speak about this often on your podcast or when you go live. And I'm like, I have to touch on this because this is literally the topic that you're so passionate about, because people compare themselves as soon as they talk to you. It's like, I'm doing this, I'm doing that.
But
this person's doing this person's doing that. And you're like, wait a second. You're not even allowing yourself to be coached. you still have an ego problem.
Ooh, tough love from Coach Andy today.
It's,
Fact.
but it's something you speak about often, and it's not that it needs to be talked about, because the ego part is literally stopping you from realizing that you're comparing yourself on a consistent basis, and you're not letting go of your past programming of knowing exactly. You think you already know everything, so why would anything change?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
And the reason we all compare ourselves is because of social media. Like, especially nowadays, we open up social media. Well, this person's losing the weight. This person's like, I was just looking, this just came up on my social media this morning and it made me cringe. This woman goes, how to stay fit at 60 years old. Here is a 1,400 calorie meal plan. I'm like, for fuck's sakes, pardon my language here. Now I'm going to get pissed off because none of my clients are below 2,000 calories and they're all losing weight. Stop. The low 1,400 calories is not enough for your body. A kid needs 1,800 calories. Like, this is just,
Yeah.
So this is why we compare. It's like, well, I'm on this 1,400 calorie diet for the past 6 months and I'm not losing weight. Okay, you're not sleeping. You're eating too low of a calorie deficit. You are just,
And your language around it, and we speak about that, is just horrible. So your language around the way that you speak about yourself, the way that you speak about health, the way that you speak about other people, it's like, that's why we talk so much about other things that impact your health than just the actual meal plan itself.
Yeah.
It's like every time you discuss the meal plan, the first thing you're talking about is someone else.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting. I'm like, who are we? Are we talking about your weight loss journey? Are we talking about this person?
But another thing too, I get clients that ask me, and one client who joined in December, love her. She's absolutely crushing it. And what I love about her, she loves investing in herself. And she told me, she literally just told me, she's like, I've invested in so many nutritionists, so many coaches. I've been on anti-inflammatory diets. They've given me meal plans, 1,400 calorie meal plans, and I've never been at this low of a weight. Like, she's losing weight, and she said at the beginning, she goes, I was scared. I was really scared to eat more. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Because we are taught and programmed to eat less, and drives me nuts. But this is totally not even in the topic that we're talking about right now. But it kind of sums it all up. So I get so passionate about food. Hold on, I just gotta finish this. I get so passionate about food because I grew up thinking that food is what was gonna get me fat. I grew up, with my eating disorder, with such a poor relationship with food that it took over my life. And I want you all to stop that relationship with food once and for all. So when your husband brings home pizza, have that fucking slice of pizza and then add chicken to it to have protein, and have a cucumber salad with a can of tuna for more protein. Like,
but yes, see that? No, but that ties into our topic, because it's the structure of you guys being on the same page will allow you to actually make a schedule around enjoying these things.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So the second you make the commitment to being healthier together and taking this health journey to another level because you care about each other, is the second that you guys can combine and attack your schedules together to make things, work.
Yeah.
To add these things into your schedule, because you're not restricting. It's, in my opinion, you're just opening more doors to succeed.
Yeah. And thank you for that. Lots of value today. And the last thing I want to touch base on before we get off, because this is a super important topic, is stress management. We live in a world, in a society where stress is just, it's there. It's there. We have to start taking control of that, taking control of your life back. And how, I'm going to ask you a question, throwing the ball at you again.
How do we raise our endorphins? Right? Because you're talking about stress, right? It's like, why do we feel stress? It's like, lots of times it's lack of exercise. What else?
Lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep. Lack of having fun.
Joy.
And, like laughter, right? And it's all these things we just assume, and that's the programming part. We always talk about programming because literally so key is we're just made to to follow the norm. So the norm would be exactly what we just had. It's like, okay, Valentine's Day consists of this, this, and this. And there's no going off track on that. It's like, yeah, some people will, but it's like, it's meant to just do these things. It's like date night, you go out, you overindulge, right? You eat a ton of chocolate, you eat
I saw so
candy.
many guys, by the way, here in Mexico, they have like people selling things at the red lights and stuff. And I see so many guys on their scooters after work, like just buying these roses last minute. Like, I have to get it for her. And it's like you're stressing out over things that literally like are so not needed. We stress over things because we have to follow the norm. What did you just send me? He said, Andy sends me this video about how we shouldn't be in an environment that we don't like and that we can't grow out of. And I'm throwing that right back at you because I moved to Mexico and I'm in a beautiful environment where I'm growing, I'm learning, I have peace, I have stillness, I have balance in my life once and for all, which I grew up with a very stressful environment. And I feel that if I hadn't gone away from that environment, it would have been very hard for me to continue growing. So with that said, Andy, when are you moving to Mexico?
that's something I need to figure out what direction, because like I've talked about this a lot lately, is like where do I want to be? Where do I see myself? Where do I want to, what levels do I want to get to? And it's like my environment here is it holding me? It's not necessarily holding me back, I would say, but is my creative mind open? Right? Do I need to travel more? Do I need to see other things to like spark that creative, like, energy inside me to see other things, to, experience other things, to be like, okay, right? That's kind of like one of those unlocks to what we were talking about with couples, is like going out and booking a trip and getting out of your consistent environment, right? And not worrying about money. This is the topic that we always talk about, is money. We always say we don't have, or we can't afford it. We can't do this. It's like,
we're going to save.
We're going to save. But it's like, if you audit what you're doing to allow yourself the opportunity to go and travel, what could it unlock for you? I'm speaking of an experience right now. It's like, I've worked so many like years in a row that it's just like work. And it's like, and life just passes you by and you're like, holy shit, where's my creativity gone?
Yeah.
Where is your
this routine, the cycle? And that when you get into a relationship, you end up meshing your routine together and you end up having the same habits, having pizza night every night. And, it's like, break that. Let's break that cycle, break that routine, book the freaking trip. I have 2 clients flying in right now from across the world, like, to come see me. And listen, they're not rich. Maybe they're secretly rich. I don't know. But I just want you to know they work a full-time job. They have a home. They have kids. Like, you are capable of living a life that you've always dreamt of and you want to do. And stop restricting yourself with the excuses that you're making. You want to be healthy, but you don't have the time. You want to come on this trip, but you don't have the money. You do. You are abundance. We are abundance. We are unlimited. Everything comes to us easily and effortlessly if you truly believe.
And that's a massive statement, is like that self-talk and that self-affirmation stuff that no one wants to do, that I've implemented too now, because it's literally like, speak it into existence. Speak it into existence that you are that person even right now. And I believe that'll happen. I was going to talk about this story because it's literally a perfect to what we're talking about right now with money. And it was sleep. And this person was talking about the bed that they purchased was about, I can't remember if it was like $50,000 or like $40,000. And then the one thing that they spoke about when they were talking about it, they're like, well, how much do you spend? How much do you spend on your car? Okay, 80,000, let's say. Okay, and how much time do you spend in your car? And then the person answered, and then it was like, okay, and how much time do you spend sleeping? And then they're like, oh shit, like, so then, but then we're so like, we justify things in different ways based on our experience with like how we've always dealt with these things. So when we talk about sleep, we're like, holy shit, sleep's so important, and we know it's important, and our quality of sleep's important. So, I mean, you don't have to go out and spend 40,000 on a bed, but they take you through all these, like, it's like NASA and all these places that do all these configurations to like design this bed. But if you maximize your sleep, what can it do for you?
Oh, life changing.
Right? So it's like not just having a mattress that you're sleeping on the floor and you're uncomfortable and then your back is thrown out or whatever, right?
Welcome to Mexico.
The point that I'm trying to make though is like the money aspect of things is like we're paying for experiences. So what is it worth to you?
Yeah.
What is it worth for you to book that trip?
Priceless. These experience, all my clients that have come to these retreats have said it's priceless. The programs that we both coach weight loss programs. You do in person, you're now going online, and we have now a community of couples, by the way, still take on a couple more couples. If you are interested, shoot us a message. But understand, like, these programs are priceless. These events, these memories are absolutely priceless. The first retreat I've ever attended, I was a teacher. I called in sick on the first day of school. That's when the event was. I flew across the country. I sat in this event, and
but look at how much you remember of it.
Oh, as if it was yesterday. I remember sitting there being like, they're like, oh, how much everybody makes. Everybody's making like a killing amount of money, a ton of clients around them. And I was like, I want to change lives. And I'm doing it for free right now on social. I was helping people for free, and I was a teacher full time. And I'm like, if they're able to do it, so can I. Now is the moment where I was like, this is game over. And here I am in fucking Mexico, quit my teaching career. Like, if you continue giving yourself all these excuses, I can't because of money, because of time, because my husband doesn't want me to, or this and that, you will stay stuck where you're at. You will be miserable. You will be unhappy. And like we just said, at the end of the day, we just want to be happy. We want to find our joyfulness. So I don't know where I was going with this.
Well, but when you change those environments, and when you changed by going to that community, if you take yourself from that point in time where you decided to make a change and go against like traditional thinking, look at where you are now, right? Oh. How do you feel now? The difference is and we don't even know how many people, like, we know of the people you've impacted directly. We don't know of the people that you indirectly are impacting through them watching you, through them watching this.
Yeah.
Right? Or even the people that know you, that like from Ontario.
Yeah.
How many people probably look at you and be like, oh my God, who is this person?
Yeah. It's funny you say this, because I just had somebody reaching out yesterday saying like the amount of women you're impacting, the people you're impacting, keep shining your light, keep going. Like, and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know she was watching me. And this is a thing. That's why, by the way, if you are watching this, leave us a review, leave us a comment, send us an email, the Real Reset Podcast at gmail.com. If you have anything you want to share, because we do this because we want to create an impact, whether it's one person or 1 million people. So understand that, like, we're here for you, and we're going to keep doing this because I freaking love this. But it is the end of our live. It's I'm actually going to pick up my client on my scooter.
That's so awesome.
I can't wait. I can't wait to see her at the bus terminal. I'm super pumped. Any final words that you want to share in regards to our topic today, or anything else?
Well, I mean, if you need a taxi in Mexico, just call Coach C. She can pick you up on her scooter, take you to your resort.
I want to make this retreat. Listen, first of all, the retreat's going to be super nice. The retreat's like high-end retreat, but what I love about my retreats is because I live here, I make it so they experience what it is to live in this type of environment, in this world, and you end up appreciating so much more when you go home.
So
It's
not
not just here's a fancy resort, you all inclusive, sit there. No, 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 no. You're gonna come with me in the streets where I walk the dog, where people live on hammocks, and you are gonna go home and appreciate every single thing that you have in your life. Even if, let's say, there's a little dent in your wall, and you're like, oh my God, there's a dent in the wall. It's the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. Okay. Some people don't
that's
have the wall.
that's I think yeah, and that's a awesome point that you just made. So people realize it's like you're going to experience culture. You're going
Yeah.
to experience like human interaction that we should be appreciating.
Yeah.
That's so cool. So other than that, honestly, I just anyone that listened or just anyone that has listened to us before, share this podcast, subscribe, like us. And you're laughing. I had a closing line. I'm not going to use it yet. You guys can wait for that one. But yeah, it's been great. It's been great. So
thank you so much.
happy to be here. Happy to like speak about this stuff because I love it. Yeah.
Andy, I'm putting you on the spot. You gotta say it. This is gonna be our closing line, and
wipe off the cheese dust off your fingers and hit this like button and subscribe. And we'll see you next time.
Let's go. Yes.
Let's go.
Thank you so much, everybody tuning in, everybody watching on replay. Appreciate you guys. Let's fucking go. Lick off those Cheetos.